Right guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel at the Hunter Collective. Today we've got Dylan in the chair. How are you doing, mate?
Good, mate, thank you.
You good? So, what's the plan? What are you thinking?
Over lockdown I had my hair grow out.
Yeah.
Turned into curls, I didn't know.
Right, okay. Yeah. That's like most people do though. Most people, when they've let the hair grow, they never realise what the hair was like. Yeah. It's incredible.
I've had my hair long, but growing up I've always like blow dry it. Straighten it when I was like in school.
Yeah.
So I used to do all this stuff, but now I've just let it grow out naturally.
Okay.
So I've been seeing these curls come together. So
right, okay, cool.
And when I wanted to do something different, so seeing the curls, I was like, you know, maybe I should like
emphasise them and bring them out a bit more. Yeah. Okay. So.
And the cool thing is because it's natural, you don't actually have to do too much to let it grow. But the photo I want to show you as well.
Okay.
I was in Ibiza about 2 months ago.
Right.
I was obviously in the water a lot, and then that was my last cut, actually, my haircut I had. So that actually happened to my hair. Salt water, whatever. That was natural. Like I would just dust it down, and then it would just dry off while I was driving.
Cool.
So seeing that, I was kind of like, you know, I actually quite liked it.
Okay, sound.
Like I would want to do them every single day, or just salt spray or whatever it is every morning.
Yeah.
So I was thinking if you had like an idea of what I could have to just easy maintain, but then on the days I want to do that, I can still do that as well. It could be even if I was to comb it out to the side.
Right. Okay.
Something like that.
Harden your curly hair because it has to be cut into a shape.
Yeah.
So if we cut the curls in, so it was sitting absolutely perfectly, and then you want to pass it to the side, it's not really going to work. Because the thing is, it's not like if you have like say my hair, you can get away with doing 2 or 3 different looks. You know, you could part it over. If you connect both sides, you can part it over. Yeah. You just basically change the product. But with curls, it's so different because it's such a different texture. If you want to create a whole new texture, if you then to put straighteners on it, you'd have really blunt hair. Yeah. You'd have one really lovely haircut with the curls in, and then you might have a mediocre pompadour, which might be sort of maybe a bit longer here, a bit shorter here, but you know what I mean? So I'd stick to the one look with curly hair.
Well, to be fair, this is going to be the first time I've got a proper cut into the shape of what I wanted. Okay. So I'm pretty happy, like at this point in time, to actually have this cut done, have the style that I was wanting, like I kind of wanted to have the style. And then I guess my next cut, if I feel like, you know what, let it go back out, or I'll do another trim or something.
That's it, exactly. I mean, it's one of those things, especially if you've never had curly hair before, or you've never known you've had curly hair before. When you get the cut done properly for it, it's so easy to style, it's so low maintenance, and it's such a strong look as well because it's naturally meant to suit you. So I think go with the curls, mate, 100%. There's people who pay an awful lot of money to have curly hair. So if you've got the option to have it, and you've also got the option to not have it by blow drying it out, I'd stick with it for a while, 100%. What are you thinking of doing on the back and sides? What do you want to do?
Similar to the photo, actually. I usually just get a normal. I usually get skin fade, which if you recommend getting a skin fade as well, because I'm happy to have.
It's up to you, mate. I mean, the back and sides don't matter. It's whatever you want to do. But what was that? Was that a 1?
That was actually about 3 days after. 2-ish or 3 days.
That couldn't have been a skin fade.
Because that wasn't.
No.
What that photo?
There's too much. There's hardly any scalp. Like
that was like.
Nah, that was probably about a 0.5.
That was at that point. It was grown out. So I probably had the haircut maybe like 2 days prior to that. I think.
It wouldn't be a skin fade. It wouldn't have grown out that quickly in 2 days. Yeah. 1,000,000%.
Yeah, I'd be happy with skin fade. If you think that would work, or
it's up to you, mate. Well, honestly, back and sides doesn't really matter too much.
Okay, cool.
It's more about what you feel most comfortable with. So. Doesn't make a difference in terms of the style because it'll be all about where you get the blend point from. So as long as we can get length through our fingers on the corners, you can have it pretty much any length you want.
We'll do skin.
All right, cool. Yeah, sounds good. Right, could you just take your mask off for me a second? No, never go high at all. No. Okay, so we've got to take that into account when we come to blend it in. That it will shrink a bit in the corner as well. So by keeping that length through here, it just allows that to happen. So it still suits you even when the curls aren't as big, all right? Because we've been playing around with them, so we kind of stretched the curls out a little bit. So yeah, I'd probably just go do sort of medium to low, just to allow us to have some room to blend on the top as well. All right, cool. All right, let's give it a wash and a condition, and then we'll get started. All right, see you, man. So guys, we've just shampooed and conditioned Dylan's hair. Now, as you can see, you scrunch this hair while it's wet. We can get a lot of curl in there. So what I'm looking to do is make Dylan's life easier, to cut a style in with the curls that suits his face shape, but also when he gets up in the morning, bit of salt spray, and then just scrunch the hair. And that's all I want you to do. That's all I want him to do. Again, we've got a couple of problem areas. We've got a very, very short crown. So as you can see when it's wet, if you come in close, as that sits flat, we've got a lot of build up here, and there's not much going on through here. You can really see the difference in the length through here, like that. So, as you can see, very short around the crown, very long at the front. Back. So this is going to stay the same, but I'm going to pull this down and use that as my guide for the back. And then we'll have to take a little bit off the front just to balance it, but it's mainly this undercut here. Like if you look at the difference in the length on the sides, if I just pull it out from one side to the other, see, there's a lot of overhang, which we don't need. Honestly, we don't need it. We need the top of the head, isolate the top of the head with the horseshoe, focus on the back and sides, and then literally work on the top. I'm gonna get my horseshoe section. Now, I'm gonna look for the crown on this because we need the crown to come into play. Now, some of the other videos we've done more recently, the crown hasn't played a big part because a lot of them have been long and they've been coming back. So the crown hasn't been a major part in this. Because it's short and we're working with the way the hair wants to grow. So first of all, we're working with the way the hair naturally grows, which is the curls, and also the growth pattern as well, which is from the crown and forward, okay? So the crown is a major factor to this. Right guys, so I've got my horseshoe. Now, dropped it down a little bit, the crown. Now, I noticed this side through here is a lot shorter than here, okay? So with the horseshoe, I've folded it around, but I've slightly dipped it a little bit lower on the right hand side, only because it's a lot shorter here. So I want to try and maintain a lot of that length. So I've gone a bit higher, just so I can work kind of not as high into this length through here. But I'm still gonna be working uniform all the way around. But I'm gonna dry it off first with using clippers, and then we'll get into our fading. So start with my number 2, and I'm gonna start it about here. I'm gonna work up to this point here. So working up and off, and just using the comb as my guide of where I want it to come through, and then just flicking up and off. Just using that kind of scooper motion just to get the transition a little bit softer. Just working to that temple on this side as well. Just go back over that area of the number 2, just make sure you get all the hair. So we'll start this transition now. Lifting that up, try to keep as much length there as possible, so adding that elevation so it falls on top of itself. And then we just get closer and closer towards the number 2 with our comb. Now this is the way I use different combs to blend with. When I press against the scalp here, it goes to a number 2, okay? So what I do is I work in elevation, and I just start pressing the spine of the comb closer and closer to the scalp until, as I get down to the blend point, the spine of the comb's on the scalp itself, okay? And then just work across the comb like this to get that blend perfect. Lift it up, point the teeth towards you, see the guide fall through the comb, and that's when you know where to cut. So again, we're looking to keep it to about here, so we can keep a little bit of detail in the sideburn, make that fade really pop as well. We'll drop it down at the back as well. Again, we're looking for that shape towards the crown, so by dropping it down, leaving a bit of shadow through here, that'll really nicely blend down and keep that shape at the back as well. Again, we'll keep everything balanced no matter which angle Dylan is facing. I'm going to start to taper in the sideburn a bit as well, and just through the temple, just to take away any of that little longer hair that you might miss with the number 2, and just details. So I'm going to cut into the hairline slightly just to really sharpen off Dylan's hairline through here. I'm just using the minis. I'm working up into my 0. Up into our minis. So now I'm going to work on the half now. And work it just to, so I'm going to drop it down a little bit just to get that temple, just so we can keep that little shape in there. And then just work down through the lever until we get down to our skin. Using the corner as well, just to go over the darker bits, and down into closed lever, and just flick off along that line, and just move it up a little bit through the lever, just using the corner into them little darker areas. Drop it down a little bit to the temple, same as the other side, Mainly using the corner of the clipper though, just to kind of fine tune that. There you go, I'm working through like that. And then just closed lever, just working over the rest of it. So half guard open. I'm working again up and off. I'm tilting it just slightly at the side there to try and keep a little of that darkness around the hairline in play. Like that. Now working through the lever again, so going halfway. Now lever closed. Same thing again, just flicking up and off. And I'm just going in between the guard just to go over them areas there, like that. There we go. Now, I'm going to move on to the number 1 guard now. Again, slightly on an angle there, because I want that hairline to be in play again. So you get a nice, really sharp hairline into the fade. Make it pop a little bit more. And work this up and off. And I'm going to close it to the 1 now. I'm trying to keep that temple area in play. I'm just using that corner to work around. Copy the same on the other side now. There we go. Now, finally, I'm on to my 1.5 guard now. There we go. And then I'm going to start working through the guard in the area that I'm working on here. Working the 1.5 guard, just in stages like here, 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 here. Just working through the lever until I'm happy. There we go. Working up and off. And even just turn the comb around and just work across that 0.5 into the 1. And really fast with your scissor. Connecting the top. So switching combs. I'm going to wet this down as well. Now, normally when you're cutting curly hair, you do it dry, but it's not it's a bit more of a wave. It's not a solid curl. I know you can see this curl there, but we could straighten that out quite nicely as well. So I'm going to do it a bit more wetter, just so it's easier for me to see and also easy for me to section into the fade as well. I'll section this across. What you're going to see is when I talk about leaving length at the blend point to be able to blend into, as I pick this up, there's the blending point there. We'll take away this length here. This is where the connection is sitting, and as you can see, that'll blend nicely into that short crown there as well. So nice and straight, right across. And let that go. It's going to fall nicely into that blend point. Using the guy from underneath, guy from behind, guy from the top. Cut straight up. And what I'll do is I'll just bring it down just to cross check and just cap off any little bits that I need to. As we bring that forward, got loads of movement through there. We've got connection through the sides as well, as you can see, and we've still left some length at the front. You guys pick it up. Got my guide there, got my guide there. But this is where the overhang is. So this is where we're on the round of the head, okay? So you can see that this connection being short at the crown, long on the round of the head, and then short underneath. You can see that it's so apparent by where that short bit is there. And this is what's making it really, really hard for Dylan to style. We've got that lovely connection, got a lovely wave through there. We've also kept some corner in there as well. So straight on, got the squareness. Now it's way too long and the thinned out part is there. So that's where something is either by a thinning scissor or something like that is being put across to thin it out like that with a thinning scissor. But what you get then is just a line of shorter hair. So as I lift it up, there's that line of shorter hair. So I think we take that length down to there, otherwise it'll still look really frayed. It'll look a lot stronger if we take it to that length. Yeah. All right? Yeah. Nice and straight. As you can see, that length that I just took off then is absolutely perfect, because as we get to this point here, I'm not taking too much off, so it's balanced really nicely. Let's get to that crown, there we go, we don't want to touch that bit. Okay, I'm going to work again just slightly on the side here as well, so just above the round of the head. So it's really just taking that front down a touch just to balance. So a little bit off there. Bring that down. Out. And there's our guide from where we blended in before. I'm just going to take the tiny little bit off, just to strengthen it. As you can see, it looks quite frayed. Pulling it straight forwards. There we go. No, it's quite thinned out already, and I don't think I want to thin it out too much. I think we want to just leave this texture in it. Yeah. All right. So what I'll do is I'll dry it off for you now so you can see how we style it.
Even the size, seeing that.
Looks nice, doesn't it?
It's been too long.
Been too long not seeing the scalp, isn't it, as well, you know? Right, I'm going to use a little bit of salt spray in this, okay? So I'm going to spray over the top. That's a fair bit. Okay, so starting from the crown, high heat, medium speed, and just scrunch your fingers through, okay? And this will dry that curl in nicely for you. Very natural looking as well. So just so it falls very naturally, so you've got that nice front heaviness. Got a lovely shape across the top, balance at the back. And then if you want to add anything else to this, like a powder or a clay or anything like that, you could do just to bring the curls out. That is essentially all you need to do. So a nice front heaviness to it. It gives really nice balance and shape to the front, but also every angle you look at that, it looks nice. Yeah. Every single angle. Happy? Yeah, man. Cool, man. It's a little bit heavier at the front, so you've got a little bit more curl in there, but we've just framed the face nicely by doing that. All right. And basically, I don't think you need anything else in it. I think it's just a bit of salt spray and that's it. Yeah. That's how low maintenance this hairstyle is.
When I saw you started.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
Like, oh,
yeah.
And then you just did something, you did a bit of your diffuser
it's
stuff.
It's all about the cut. That's what we were saying at the start. You know when I said about the style, you want 2-3 different looks with it? Hard with curly hair. You want to cut that real shape into it because that's how it wants to sit. Yeah. Okay? So I don't think getting 2 or 3 different looks would really, really work with that curl.
To be honest, it was more about having the curl, but something with low maintenance.
Something with low maintenance, exactly. And that's what I was aiming for. They were the 2 things that I was thinking of in the whole time. I was like, low maintenance, keep that curl in there as well. All right? Awesome. So you happy, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Sweet, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, mate.